Fratelli, the Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. Fratelli, the Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast. The Italian Rugby podcast.
Welcome in a screaming episode of Fratelli di Rugby podcast, straight with the face of Coach Brunello at the minute 69, and we know what happened that minute. Mike, buonasera. How are you?
Yeah, a lot better than Brunello, probably.
Here we go. Oh, man.
Oh, mate, it's unfortunate that you screenshotted at that perfect time, because I can see people editing that picture in a rather unscrupulous manner.
Actually, this should be one of the new stickers in our WhatsApp chat of Fratelli di Rugby.
Yes.
We need one of that.
Yes.
So,
every time, Phantom, you talk, my friend. It's welcome in the chat, by the way, Phantom. But yeah, when you have your Phantom hot takes, which we actually should start doing a little weekly segment on Phantom. For those of you guys who aren't involved, he has some interesting concepts, and I think we should share them with the world in small doses.
Yes, we have a lot of tiny cutie stickers from.
There's the Irish pundit after the Zebra Monster game.
Again.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The fact that you made that into a sticker is just.
Sometimes we can be like that.
Yeah. I mean, shall we start with Zebra, my friend?
With my God, yes, with this man that was really frustrated that moment of the game. But let's talk to from the beginning of the game, Mike, because this game it's really bitter. You got a point and everything, but it's so bad to comment. Because almost there again, it's frustrating at the end. So, tell me everything about this game. By your opinion, probably we're gonna be 100% in agree.
Yeah,
let's see.
Yeah. Obviously, Zebra, I felt, lost the big moments of the game. It was just, those pendulum swinging moments. I think full score. With the penalty and some decision making, again, just maybe some naivety from the team. But I will say this: I am very, very, very impressed with how they played the conditions and not the opponent. Very impressed. That's the one thing where I don't mean that I mean that sincerely. Like, they kicked relatively well. Obviously, there was the odd kick too long or missed touch, but that was for both teams. Conditions were bad, but they played the conditions better than the Lions, and I want to understate that, because I don't want that to be understated, because Zebra have always been known as let's throw a ball around and see sort of team, and that was not that performance on Friday.
Look, I'm pretty in agree with you, and I'm gonna try to go on the other side too. But we see Zebra committing the same kind of errors, right?
Mm-hmm.
We saw them staying more in the game. It was one of those games that Brunello really loves. A good
wet
rain, man. We won with under 20s many games like that. So those looks to be the perfect condition for a coach like him, like ready to like World War I kind of stuff on the Alps fighting. So pretty close. Talking about general, let me put again the general in the chat. Here we go. The screaming general.
Yeah,
we were really disappointed because there were a couple of situations where, of course, they can be better. And let's talk about two situations. One, Phantom hot takes in the chat, I'm gonna highlight it too, is one, because my opinion, Mike, that was a situation where they should be better, but not the ref as is saying Phantom. But
that's not the ref's fault. No, that's not the ref's fault.
doing that, because I think having a so young ref, a so young guy that wants to ref, is great. 21,
Mhm.
22 years ago, old.
Yeah.
Good for him to pick a game like this too, but it's not this. As Rosselli said many times last year, for example, you have to do even more than what is supposed to be whistle sometimes for this
Yeah.
game.
And
You
also
cannot
people
play that game.
yeah, people tend to blame like a single person, like it's the ref's fault, but the ref has a whole team to support him, and he's looking at so many different things. I actually, to give credit where it's due, I think the ref did a really good job under the conditions against the opponents, against like it was a tough game to officiate, and there's always going to be mistakes. Humans are just they're infallible, right? They're not. It's one of those. So
About that situation, you think, Mike?
he did the right
Let's
thing.
do,
No.
but
That situation.
do speculation. If the jersey was a different jersey,
No. Just no.
that's was yeah.
No. It was the right decision. What I'm saying is there's other people involved in the officiating. So if there's other stuff that people have, umbrage with, then TMOs are there for a reason. And listen, it's great that someone so young, like Otto said, is putting the whistle around their neck and looking to officiate. Who knows if he keeps getting these sort of games, he could be one of the youngest ever international refs, and that's what we should strive for. Like we should be promoting that. That's what we should be celebrating. So kudos to him. And I don't really want to talk about decisions now. I think I said my piece a little bit.
Let's talk about
on
the focus of the pivotal moment, because the ref whistle, okay, penalty against, because it's it's a free push that you don't have to do. What you're gonna do? You're gonna play quick and runs away? I don't think so. So that was a little bit silly by Fusco pushing in front of the eyes of the ref. But from that situation, avoidable, they scored the try.
Yeah, self-inflicted.
So that's what sucks. And then we got on the second half, I guess, Mike, because there was that situation where Brunello was screaming that is connected to the penalty, the way to play the choice and everything. Your thoughts on that situation?
Yeah, no, I understand why he was upset. So just for context, it was a penalty round about the 15-yard mark, and Zebre decided to sort of wear down multi-phase, which is the right thing to do.
Pick and go close.
Yeah, exactly. And then they decided to pass on into the center channel, and again, we kick the ball to nothing really. If we're going to play, that pick and go, we're starting to make yards. Probably got to, I'd say, about 7 yards out. There was some decent defending from the Lions as well, which pushed them back a couple of yards. And then we passed the ball out 5 yards backwards, and we just kicked to nothing. I think the decision for the pass to Maurici was a bad decision, again, just in terms of like maybe some key learnings from that game. But then to kick the ball away to nothing as well, at least just play it to hands and trust your team. I think that was just a little bit of a naivety. But Brunello clearly made his thoughts quite clear at that stage. I mean, what were your thoughts on it, Otto?
Look, I'm gonna show up the picture. Let's say this picture of that situation that probably can help us also thinking why doing that, and trying to understand why Brunello was so upset. Adding another layer on that. So I'm gonna just share.
They sucked in the defense really well. There was space out wide. I know that if they wanted to, but I don't think that was the play.
You can see it, right, Mike? Just
Yeah.
put it up here. Okay, I'm gonna put it even bigger. Just screenshot it from the game. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So outside here you have a winger and no Amba. And this kind of attacks play wide, play with hands, because at the end, Kriel was arriving here. I think Vandenberg. So the 9 was also sweeping already. So that is a situation where you can try to play out because you have also hands and steps with Fratelli, and you have Jesse wide. So
I didn't even see that. If just from this steal, even aside from the fact that it was a poor decision, like you said, because the passing through the hands was the option. Sorry, if you don't mind going back, just one second.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it back.
The kick was offside, so even if he managed to get there, it would have been a penalty against them. Like,
my God, yes, actually.
So if you take everything out of that picture, every single element of that picture is just wrong. It's just absolutely wrong. So anyway, hey, listen, like it's easy for us to point it out at this context is king, isn't it? It's just absolutely king. It's easy for us to point out from here, but like, listen, Morisi is a brilliant player. We don't need to point it out. I think Brunello probably doesn't need to necessarily point it out, though I'm sure he did. And these are the key moments we talk about. That's just two of the key moments as well. I think there was one I highlighted. The offload, yeah. I think that was around 47 minutes, 50-minute mark, maybe. Can't remember top of my head, but just forced. Didn't need to offload, could have recycled. They made 25 yards and they're sort of, 8 meters from the try line, and we just do the offloads. And actually, again, round about the 60-minute mark, Trulla steps 3 defenders beautifully, takes them out of the picture, steps 3 beautifully after taking the ball, probably around the 40, in their 40, makes probably sort of 10 yards or so, and then just tries the offload and it goes forward. Like those are when I talk about naivety, I'm not talking about like one person naivety. I'm talking about general sort of naivety, and we've got to understand that it's a young team. There's always going to be mistakes, right? That's the one thing I want to say. But this team has so much potential. Yeah, listen, Morisi, like you said, Phantom, just for context, he's like, how can Morisi be naive with number of caps? Listen, I think everyone's prone to a bit naivety, including myself. Like even the most wise people in the world can be naive. Like it happens. Sometimes you just misread a situation. It's not. He didn't intentionally look to kick the ball away for nothing.
I will add a couple of stats to that because so we can see the situation with. I have to do a jingle about that. Let me do why I didn't think about it earlier. So
yeah, nice.
These are a couple of infos, but these are all on the UnitedRugby.com stats. You can find everything there. But something that I would like to highlight is the number of turnover lost, because we see lost 75 for Benetton and 77 by the Zebre. So when you have you are the first team in the URC for turnover loss, that of course is no good at all. So that is something that of course we want, because they can produce a lot, but they have to be more precise, skilled, because that's what they need. And it's gonna be interesting how stuff they're gonna change in the next weeks. Buonasera, amico mio Robert. Welcome. Robert, you have to enter in our WhatsApp chat so you can talk with Phantom, with us, all funny stuff. We actually we also predict really well on the URC predictor because we got double points. Because
I want to be honest here, right? All Otto this week. Like he's giving me some credit where it's not due. This was 100% Ottavio this week, and
this week
up
we
against
some points, but only with guts, with feelings.
Hey, listen, you're going to be modest now, but up against all of the URC media content creators, Ottavio did bits. He did well this week. So yeah, kudos, man. You did really well, mate.
We did it. We did it. And who was the best player in the field for you, for Zebre, Mike? Best and
Honestly,
strong. Who you want to highlight?
honestly, for me, and I don't even think it's that clear. I thought Zambonin was exceptional, exceptional. Tackling, like he did 2 tackles, one in the first half, 15 meters behind gain line. Just read it really well, gets to the 9. And then I think, unfortunately, someone goes off their feet and gives a penalty away. This was off a line out just outside of their 22. So, had we played that properly, we could have, really forced them to kick out, and it would have been a massive net gain. So that's one just small example. What he did at line out was great. I really like the fact that he's starting to get mad as well when he's talking. And you look at the sort of the 67, 68 minute mark, actually a little bit further on, where they have their defensive line out, probably 75th minute. After this 75th minute, where they're about to throw the line in, and he's just marshalling everyone. He's getting angry, and like he's emerging as a leader for me. And
We were talking last weekend about locks, how important as for us locks to be strong and heavy, busy in the field. He was seems like
Yeah.
they listen as a Mike.
yeah,
So
for me, it wasn't even close. And I've now watched the game sort of like twice, at least the second quarter twice, and like the first half I managed to catch up, and he was standout. It's not even close for me. He was best player on the pitch, including both teams.
So I'm gonna try to find another one that I liked by Zebre was Fratelli. Love him in general, and
Yep.
let's say Phantom says Montemauri. I want to mention him because he had a good game,
Kicked well.
but that kick stays in this game. Just it's like, come on, but not for him. Like it sucks because seems
Yeah.
everything perfect. The 3 points, the kicking, the leadership in the field, and then he was being perfect until that moment. So just unlucky Monte, I will say, because I like it the way he tried to play this game. Of
Yeah.
course, maybe, just saying maybe, if there were some fresh legs in the second half to go at 10, some switch in the backs, maybe it would have been great. But who knows if they were going to miss again that kick.
It's interesting you say that, because we talked about playing the conditions early on, and they did play the conditions really well. Montemauri, Fratelli, like you both said. But the coaching staff, I think, played the conditions really well. So not like we were struggling in the scrum, sort of like 45 minutes onwards till Nocera comes on. I think Nocera comes on 43rd minute, first scrum, loses the penalty. And then from that point on, it was just dominance from Zebre. I will say,
And then Pitinari came in.
Sorry?
And then with Pitinari too.
Pitinari, he got a little bit less of the rub of the green, I think. And I think a lot of it comes down to a bit of a learning curve from Captain Fisco. Like, oh, captain, my captain. I think he's a fantastic player, but I think the way he interacts with the referee, like, he needs to learn quickly that the Anglo referees don't like that. And I talk from experience. They don't like Moni. People certainly in playing in the UK. You can lose the ref quite quickly with like being sort of like moany and overly sort of emotional about stuff. So
like if you have Ben Whitehouse, you cannot say anything in the field because he wants to say stuff.
Yeah, well, it's about that, isn't it? But yeah, I think it's one of those, mate. Yeah, some great players, mate. Some great players this weekend. I actually think Zebre played the better rugby. If you look sort of first 15 minutes, I'd say Zebre. Next sort of third was probably all Lions, but from sort of 60 minutes on, like, Zebre were just camped. They did it so well.
Oh, Mike, looking forward for next week. It's crucial. Next week, it's another of those battles that you want to fight and to win. Hopefully, Zebre will be the Scarlets of last week. because
Yeah.
Scarlets were able to win against Bulls,
Yeah.
and we want to see the Zebre
Yeah. It's going to be
doing the
tough,
same
mate.
there with a team that is trying to find their mojo in the game. A really dominant Taney Plumtree in general. I think it's so good,
He's so good.
man. It's so good, and it's been,
So
of
good.
course, called up again by Gats for the November International with 5 Gloucester men. Of course,
Hey.
we
Well,
are the other province of Wales, Gloucester, right?
it's just across the border, just stone's
Yeah.
throw away.
So
Um,
Scarlet Zebra, man, it's hard.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a game that they're targeting, right? And I think actually, you know, you look at some of the players that were probably going to start and they ended up on the bench, and some that were rested completely. I know Fratelli
You
got like that big old knock, but
exactly.
players like
Delicata
that.
from the bench.
Yeah, normally players that you would expect to start, and who knows, right? Like the irony of it is, who knows if they maybe started, then potentially it may have been a different conversation. Simone, I am with you, my friend. 100%.
Yeah, everybody, we're gonna be in that situation because it's a game. Come on, can be crucial if Zebre won't win away. With all the respect for Benetton, but this is the game that you expect. You're waiting for. Come on,
Yeah.
this is the year they can do it. Maybe
This could be the match.
won't, but the match, il cazzo del partito della settimana, la
Yeah,
partita
yeah,
della
yeah.
settimana. For
Yeah,
us,
I agree.
as Italian fans, yes, of course. On the other side, we want to remind everybody, like, it's not the first time that Bulls have lost against Benetton, right, Mike?
No.
We
I think there was a
to
little cup, little. No,
a
that doesn't
little
sound right.
rainbow, right? Was
Yeah,
some
I
colors
don't
in
know.
it. So
No,
we keep it, and
Benetton winning. No, I can't
once
remember,
upon a
mate.
time there was Garbisi at Benetton, but was the other Garbisi. Funny to say.
Hayward at fullback, mate.
So a couple of friends from the family, WhatsApp family, ability to do it. Josh, Zebra, so much fun to watch, and of course, who can be the key player next week? Mike, come on.
For Zebre.
Yes, and then we move on to Benetton.
Yeah, I think against the Scarlets, I'm hoping it would be. I'm hoping it would be like full score. Box
Ooh.
kicking was good again today. You know, like if it's going to be backs versus backs, I think Scarlets might edge it just because of like the halfback partnership. If we manage to make it a bit of a war like we did this week, we get the contestable kicks right, the forwards are on point. I think the link there is going to be really important. So for me, if Fusco or Garcia are playing well, then Zebra have a real chance of winning it. Like genuinely, like a real chance of winning it. So that's sort of my take on it.
Couple of jokes in the chat that I'm reading just because if in case you're listening us on Spotify, you can join Locatelli, that he played again as a captain for Viadana, and Simone with a good call on Garcia might step up a little bit, even because maybe now it's pretty ready, you know, a couple of weeks in back. So that's crucial to see how they're gonna perform. I go with Jesse. Big game of from Jesse. We need those game because we saw the way he's trying to change his way to approaching defense, but something that we should highlight because he is growing in his game. Of course, he's still committing a few mistakes. He can improve, we know, but he is working. You see that in the field, and for me, it's already some important stuff too. And then we have gangs of Trulla. Let's see what's gonna happen with them. I want to see Ada looking can give that boost the needed in the centers as we were mentioning last week. Hopefully he's back. But cartilage
Hassa coming back as well. Wow.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about Hassa. He's going to be such a welcome return.
So, question for you, Mike. La grinta, la garra in Spanish. How you say that? in English? How can you explain what is the grinta?
Green. What's it called? Oh,
Grinta. Robert, help us in the chat. Josh, if you have some ideas about that. Grinta. Come
it's
on.
like grits. No, not green. I have actually lost the word. Not resilience.
Stimo, tell us, Google it, please, because we have this. I don't know why Mr. Phantom, that usually helps us in this, doesn't say anything. But let's go. Go with Grinta. In the meantime, of course, we said already about
Grit. Yeah, right the first time. Yeah, it's grit. Yeah.
It's fire in your belly. Here we go. Look at him. Fire in your belly. And it's not the Mexican food that you ate last night. So that's great. Talking about Mexican food, Argentinian and stuff. Welcome Agustin Crevi at the Benetton, because he's officially today he start training with the team, as we were writing when it's gonna happen, what is going on. The 21st is the first day, so a new hooker for the Benetton's fan, for the Italian aficionados, because it's a great it's a legend of the game for Argentina, one of the best. So Agustin Crevi, who knows if we're gonna see him playing a few minutes. Chat says grits in the exact translation. Perfect. Grinta.
Thank you, Manuel.
Oh, shrimp and grits.
Yeah, Phantom. I thought you lived in England for the past 60 years. That's right.
Crevi's gone. And Dragons, ciao. Well done.
Yes.
Still to work, but bonus point, Mike.
Yes, the important part. The important part of the whole victory is the fact that they got a bonus point away from home. Come on.
Yes, absolutely. You can give a really positive boost for the let's say for everything, because some players find more confidence in their game in the last couple of ones with victories. A new international player coming in, the way they're trying to play their game is there, but of course you have to play against worst enemies like Bulls already, but that is really positive, because Dragons, they have a lot of kicks by Lloyd Evans, another former Gloucester top scorer at the moment for the URC, which is crazy to think, but I really like that kind of player. A player that I would like to have seen for Zebre, kind of a Prisciantelli 10-15, really similar to him, maybe less of that talent that sparks. But Dragons, they try the fight, they stay in the game until minute 60, but then like waves of green in Wales, because they were really strong set piece, let's say, with the forward, Mike, actually general work of the forwards.
100% agree. And I was having this discussion yesterday, where Benetton are starting to develop a power game that they haven't really had, nor have really been known for. So like forwards, set piece, Moore was good for once. Like everything was, even like the impact at contact was brilliant. And I just want to highlight a player. Like we spoke a lot about Hasa last year. We spoke a lot about Spaniolo last year for obvious reasons. Avaca, like he's come on and
the cow.
Yeah, literally Avaca. Yeah. He's literally come on and like, what's this URC level that we speak of? Like, what is this nonsense? He's come on, he scored a try, he brutalized the scrum, like he won so many scrum penalties. We're starting to develop quite nice little pool of props now, like to the point where you're starting to get a bit excited about the future years, because we've never had an opportunity like this, I don't think.
No, absolutely, and it's important to find these players ready when they're being called up, because they don't have Zilocchi, for example, Pasquali too. So having a player that is ready for these kind of games, if you think about last year, it's all positive. They are like those boosts that I was saying before, like Avaga really boom, really strong in the last couple of games, growing and scoring a try where he bumps away players
Celebrating
and
before he puts it down as well, the boy.
with those crazy 90s, early 90s Argentinian style hair. Looks like Michael Vivas for me.
Yeah,
Another gloss. Sorry, guys, if I mention Glosser, but there are two props everywhere. But Michael Vivas really looks like him. They looks like doppelganger for me.
Mate,
Ciao,
I
Phantom.
think,
See you soon. Ciao, Phantom.
yeah, ciao, Phantom. I think, just again, like, just to sort of reiterate the power game, it looked like they really played well, and I thought Brex had a brilliant game, minus obviously the intercept pass. He kicked well, he defended well, he distributed well. I thought it was brilliant. Defended well, I think, is really sort of quite a pungent point as well, because they were coming up in the line really, really aggressively that first sort of 35 minutes. And then in my head, I was just, I might have mentioned it in the chat, I can't remember. It's like they just if they can weather this storm, like weather this early storm, we've got like the talent to push through. And obviously we know that the players have been pushed really, really hard this season as well. So they're going to be really fit. They're going to have fitness on most teams. So, yeah, Benetton's starting to slowly quiet down some of this negativity, some of this, poor chat. These boys are putting it all out for the cause,
Absolutely, man. Mike, I think the big bump was the first game, if you think, because it was unexpected. Let's say just 2 points for a game like that at the beginning of the season. So now probably they're gonna find their way. They're gonna add because Krev is gonna add a lot in terms of mentality, like winning mentality, fighting mentality, with something that already we've seen with Fekitoa. To be honest, Fekitoa did very well. Few stuff, like when he entered, couple like stealing balls into contact with Brex,
and the line break as well, where that was almost a certain try if he got that ball away on the 5-yard line. Like it was 2-on-1, and he managed to win that, like with the catching the offload.
And so you see that that work by Fekitoa is not the same Fekitoa of years ago, but you can see how it's working, which is positive for them. Really a bad weekend. Squadraccia MVP is like he and their Leinster fan, Mike. So of course,
got it. Yeah, no. It's one of those, right? I think you're spot on. Fekitoa is starting to develop an Italian game, right? Like trying to,
yeah, more, yes,
as in Italian like game. More suited. Well, I just mean more suited to like a Benetton. Like he's starting to look more like. He's starting to look more like, Menoncello than, what he used to look like. It was like a Jamie Roberts, just a crash ball 12. We knew what he was going to get. Now he's starting to develop a slightly sort of wider set.
He's been to fight for his place with Brex.
Yeah,
with the young Menoncello. So you need to do more on that.
Yeah,
kind of like Manonu. Manonu did the same. He was a great hard runner. Then he developed all the full all-around game. Yeah, Fekitoa is doing the same actually.
Do you think the top end for like centers, as in like the same way for props, it's about technique, and you start learning, and then your muscles mature at like 28, and then you're still learning technique. Like realistically, props, like their peak is like 30 plus now, right? Like look at Ferrari as the perfect example. Ferrari's probably up there with some of the best tight heads, and he's like developed that throughout the years. Do you think it's similar to like the centers? Do you like do you think it's similar, or do you think you start losing pace and all of a sudden your stock in the market goes down and you get shifted out?
So interesting. Some players has to develop other skills that maybe they've shown less when they're young, because they were like just a sensation sometimes. And some players have to work on small margin to keep their performance always high. I think in
I think they're
general,
fair points.
players like him, think about Morisi before and after injury, the difference he has to manage to keep that level, to stay back and becoming the player that you want to see. Or internationally, all the players, they have to start fighting for their spot with young talents of 21, 22, 23 years old. You have to work all around, and I think that is probably the key. You have to be good on everything. You cannot just be the strong center that crash the ball. Example, Mori. Even Mori has to develop other skills, be better in defense, to be an all around, Tuilagi
agreed.
style, the you
I
want.
think that's a
right?
really good example as well that you pulled out with Mori, because like,
Bundeaki, the same.
yeah, no, you're right. Going back to the game very quickly,
You're
Liner,
spot on this of Josh. Huh? Your game
your
has to
game has
develop
to,
to match
yeah,
your changing abilities. Yes.
yeah.
So you have to be trained in your brain, first of all. Go, Mike.
Yeah, so just very quickly, maybe a slightly understated game because he did dog work this week. I thought Liner had a very, very good game. At high with the high balls. They didn't give him any time and space. He was targeted a lot, like when he
That's
had
the
ball in
point.
hand.
You want him to give that right amount of space, like we mentioned a couple of weeks ago about Odogu didn't have
Doesn't
that
need it.
space to attack straight. To
Yeah,
find his space, he has to enter in the field and then go in
yeah,
and attack. You have to put him in the right position to receive
yeah,
a good that ball. One ball you have to give him that he can really gain meters. That probably is the work they can do better and better and hopefully they're gonna do it this week.
yeah. I thought Liners, like, particularly when he was playing those contestable high balls, like he didn't quite count, but I think he retained ball 4 times from those kicks, which again we don't have many players like that in Italy.
No,
So
he's one of the best on that work, slapping the
yeah,
ball back, no?
just
Alla
slapping it back.
Stewart.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Stewart probably, like, he'd probably jump
He
over.
jumped in there. Yeah.
I mean,
And then
like, do a backflip, just
with
catch it, backflip over Liner as he's trying to slap it back. But yeah, no, he really impressed, and I think I'm starting to now look at the November tests, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners and the people in the chat as well are probably starting to look at the November tests. I'm like, okay, against some of the teams that we're playing against, if they're going to start playing a retention-based game, right? This, same way that England play, where they're trying to sort of retain those contestable balls. He's almost someone that we need to have now. If he keeps playing the way he is playing in terms of ball retention, he's going to be someone who, if we're playing a team who is going to be very kick heavy, he's now, his stock is going up in Quesada's eyes. So it's going to be really interesting to see sort of how the other wingers play the next couple or next game, because I think next game is going to be deciding factor a lot about who starts the following few weeks.
It's gonna be a big fight to find their spot. And some other players are gonna be really raging and they want to find more and more space to show up what they're missing. Talking about Jesse, of course, and Odogu in this moment, because those are the two players that actually are like Brunello, no? They feel like that probably in in this moment. And of course, Mori didn't play the last weeks, so until now he played 57 minutes in one game. Yes, I'm gonna put it back on, Mike, for you.
Wait a sec. I'm gonna sending you a picture that you have to put on, all right?
Yes, but I have another thing to put on if you want. But this is another We have 40 minutes in. Let's do 5 minutes about this, Mike. Let's
Nice.
do about this. Anteprima preview. This is those are our option, and to connect everything, we can see Gallagher in 3 position. Tell me what you have seen by like how you think he played last games. He is an option for the wingers too because he played there too back in the days at Bath.
Yeah,
But
I
the
think
50
yeah, I'm obviously a massive advocate of Gallagher just because I see sort of how he fits in at test level. You know, I think it's safe to assume that if the conditions are dry and, you know, they're perfect, you know, rugby playing as in ball handling conditions, then potentially we might not see him. And that's not to be disrespectful for him, but I think he really, really excels when it is a very sort of forward heavy, kick heavy, war of attrition, typical test rugby, you know, winter test rugby player. I really see where he fits because he has stuff that a lot of our players don't have, particularly now that Panny's off injured. If Panny wasn't injured, then maybe there'd be less emphasis because we know what Panny can do as well, ball in hand, and how proficient he is with the boot. But for the time being, we do not have any fullbacks that can do what he does for the time being. Until injuries come back, I just don't see it. Alan, obviously, I would like to see him
10
stay
or
at 10.
15.
Yeah, I
Because
would like to see him stay at 10.
question, I didn't put, for example, in this graphic, I didn't put Marin in other position. We know he can play on the wing as a center because he play everywhere. But I put it only as a 10 because Quesada this summer said Marin is our 10, he's gonna play 10. So I put Marin there. Bertaccini also played on the wing, but I don't think we're gonna arrive to get Bertaccini a chance on the wing. I think he probably is gonna be in the center if we're gonna try him in one of the game. Mike, hopefully, honestly, I hope the pair of center is gonna be okay for the 3 games, really well fit, no injuries and everything, because I would like to see Menoncello Brex. In case something happen, we know there is Zanon in theory before and then Bertaccini, but still.
Yeah, not a bad replacement Zanon, is he? He's been playing really well as well before the internationals were back. So kudos to him. If he can maintain, you know, the way he's been playing, he might even be able to displace him for a game or two. So, like you said, it's going to be interesting to see sort of who and what sort of combination we have come. And again, it's different horses for different courses. That's one thing I think we need to sort of understand. It's not always the best player or perceived best player. It's the best player for the opponent. And I feel like I say this every week because there's always questions and there always will be questions because that's the nature of sport. But let's be honest. If we're playing a very, very aggressive Argentinian side who are probably going to play a lot ball in hand.
Let's go there because that is the first fight to face.
Yeah, I would say we want to have Menoncello, we want to have Brex, we want to have people who have stopping power because they're going to be coming ball in hand very aggressively. So for me, I think that the dynamic there works really well. But yeah, I think if we were playing, I don't know, let's say New Zealand, and New Zealand are going to be playing slightly more sort of like expansive rugby game, and you know, maybe we play someone else. But I just think it's the point is like your best player isn't always the best player for that game. That's sort of the point I'm trying to make.
So a couple of commentary that needs to be read for our listeners. One about Mori, so then we go on Alan because that is another situation, another horse for a different course. In that case, Mike. So to point out, Mori has developed a bigger skill set since arriving in France, and particularly Bayonne. Not uncommon to see put kicks through a much better passing grid center defense. Yes, and he's doing that swiping defense really hard on the player. If I have to mention something that he can do really better is the breakdown, playing better. He changes position now if you see him, but he can be also devastating in the breakdown if he wants to do it. So let's see how he's going to develop that. About Alan, Mike, and of course Josh is mentioning if Pani wasn't injured, Galler wouldn't be in. Interesting the fight over there
I
because
think they're very similar players, right? So yeah, like I said, I think Pani has what Gallagher offers, as in terms of like they both got similar sort of skill set. Although I think Gallagher, I don't think I saw Gallagher drop a ball. I just want to be. I don't remember him dropping a ball. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But he was up a fair amount and he came back with the ball, not slapped back like Lina. He came back with the ball, which meant he went up to catch the ball.
Catcher on that.
Yeah, which I don't, and that's something again. I said it right at the start with Lina. We don't have many players that can compete in the air. So if Gallagher can do that and is solid at fullback, then like he probably would start over Pani. And I love Pani. I do. I've been advocating him for years. But that's an area of the game that he needs to improve as well. So
another one before going in the conclusion of this episode, let's talk about Alan because that is the new, right?
Yeah.
We did a lot of speculation about what happened, why he wasn't there, and everything. Do you see him in the dynamics of this outside playing tent, where you will use him a distributor between the lines? I will try to use him first of all, also as a first receiver. If you play 15, let's say 15 with Garbisi, okay, situation scenario 10, 15 like that. If I see a pair of like them, I'm expecting. Don't tell me why, because I just feeling I'm gonna see Capozzo or Leinag, with Capozzo that can be the number 23 and Ioane on the other side. That can be the situation, and that way you can see playing a little bit behind the line, trying to run to Garbisi, because the player that attacks more the line between Garbisi and Allan is Allan. My opinion.
Yeah,
he
no,
takes
it
the
is.
pressure on him. How many times they try to slap him hard at the Queens too when he was playing?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you
no,
want
you're right.
that risk to be taken by us, and we have Brex too that can work. So in that way, I'm thinking a lot of waves of attack together, left and right boot grabber situation like that we have seen already, but not that long and not with Quesada. So I'm wondering what can be, let's say, improved from this pair of player. If he's gonna play 10, we know what he's gonna do, and it's gonna be great. No doubt on that. Come on, he's our best scorer, right?
I think actually it's going to be really tough to pick who starts over him and Garbisi. I think we default to Garbisi because he's the protege, right? Like, and it's the name and all of that stuff. But realistically,
even if he's gonna play one game, let's say the Georgia game, will play Allan. Are you gonna be upset? Or if he's gonna start against Argentina? I don't care.
I wouldn't be upset if he started every game. Like, I think, well, again, right?
Makes sense, Mike.
We trust Quesada, we don't, right? Like, if he sees something in training that we don't see, then good. So, and I do, I do trust him. So, if he decides that he's the best player for that opposition, great, right? And ultimately, that's why he's paid the big bucks. He needs to make these decisions. That said, if he makes a decision, and I'm not talking specifically about Alan now, if he makes a decision and it backfires, if he doesn't learn from that decision, just keeps making the same mistakes, then what's the point? So, I think Alan, for me, I think we're probably going to see him as a second playmaker. My question then is, if he's playing, I probably don't see Ange playing, because Ange has also been playing that sort of playmaking position. at what point is there too many chefs? Do you know what I mean? At what point is it when you have too many fantastic ball players? Is it a issue having them in the team?
I'm reading Josh comment about
No.
Trula will be picked up in
Maybe.
front of Ireland.
Yeah, maybe. At front of line, yeah, maybe. Yeah, like I'm not too wedded. But I think if you're, I don't know if that not a chance was about Gallagher, but if you genuinely don't think that he was pulled by the federation to play for Italy, then unfortunately, mate, you're the naive one.
Here we go. This is the wave. Breck's first receiver, Alan, Garbis in lots of space. Menoncello steams through space or whoever tries to get in his way.
Please.
And two wingers following this line break.
Please, let's make this happen. Let's make this happen. Awesome.
Last
Send it over to Gonzo.
Two things we have to mention, Mike. We didn't mention that, of course, Italy will play against South Africa two games next summer. We started in that way, but then we didn't speak about that. So
yeah, let's talk about
it. Interesting. And Van official is a new Van player. Van is a new player. Van is there, and wow, we're less than a month, and we're gonna be in Genoa for Italy, Georgia.
Nice, mate. It's going to be mental.
In Genoa for that game, please watch out for a couple of bearded guys going around speaking about rugby. Maybe it's us, maybe it's going to be some Georgian, and we're going to be there with some Georgian friends too.
Potentially, yeah, exactly. What was I going to say very quickly? Yeah, so the South African game. First of all, it's nice to see us get those caliber games. Hopefully, it's not just a 2-test summer international.
No, probably we're gonna have other games like dropping names there. Romania can be. Georgia was another name that came out
again.
Of course, one a year against Georgia. Why not?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I wouldn't be upset if
play
it's Georgia
in Bulgaria between the two nations.
Perfect. So you can just roll out of bed and go.
Yes, they can come on my home.
That's it. I think for me, I'd like to see if we're going to play. I'd love to see us play Spain. Love to see us play Portugal again. It'd be brilliant, you know.
Georgia's playing, not us. I understand all different. Perfect. I'm going to investigate on this, Josh. My God, I understand. Capri per cavoli. Ho capito tutta un'altra cosa.
No. I think he's saying as well. So we're playing South Africa and Georgia is playing South Africa. So it won't be Georgia, is what he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, Portugal is probably the right person here. So Portugal has a test against a unannounced tier 1 opponent, Joshua wrote. So Portugal could very well be Italy, Portugal.
Last mention for MVP, Capozzo plays the wing role very well, and it's very smart player when he's wide on the defensive line and he can attack in. I add. For me, with George exploring you a lot in the depth, Alan could be very useful, and all these issues, opportunity, chances, they're gonna be some head scratch for Quesada, because you are getting more and more players, and now you're really a selector too in this moment, more than in the past, I guess.
Yeah,
in the past,
I agree.
because they're stepping up. Bene, Mike, we say everything, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we missed. Obviously, congratulations to Varney, like we said. Wish him all the best. Hope young Varney obviously settles in quickly and manages to make an impact and get a few minutes, and hopefully see him back in sort of the mix come Six Nations. Other than that,
play a lot of golf in the meantime, because I'm sure around Van the great golf course.
Yeah. I'll Stephen, I'll play you at golf now, mate. Just started, so give me a couple of shots. A hole will be all right.
you know what I started last weekend?
What's that?
Carving pumpkin and painting pumpkin for Halloween.
It's taking you a fucking week.
Already behind me.
What are you doing? It's taking your whole week. Like, what are you doing? You do a cut a day or something.
Man, Halloween in my house started the 1st of October. Come on.
Like watching Happy Gilmore without the distance. Nice, Josh. For you, it's like watching the Happy Foundation without the foundation.
Portugal as a test and announce. Interesting too. Well, anyway, we're gonna talk about it. And Mike, we should do some October Halloween stuff. So get ready to paint your face for the next.
Mate, I've got 2 pumpkins downstairs, and I've got
one you're gonna eat it, and one you're gonna put in your head.
Oh, mate, for sure. Yeah, two little ones because I think the kids want to have a little play around. One other thing, my kid had his first torrential zebra-esque training session, and I've got a newfound respect, for all of those coaches who have played a game on the Saturday, been absolutely wrecked in the evening, come in first thing in the morning in the pissing rain with icy water.
Wow.
So yeah, shout out to the coaches, and yeah, it's good to see him sort of start playing out. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that.
So no, congratulations to the little Petretta Junior, and actually.
Yeah. He's gonna be he's gonna be
Italian qualified
already. Nice and easy.
Ready.
Gonzo. Hey, if in 17 years you need someone, mate.
Just got front rower, say Josh. You think?
Oh man, no, he's tall. He's tall and he's like a Zambonin right now. So
okay, the big giraffe.
No, he's very tall, lanky.
Great.
Yeah.
Mike, see you, of course, in the chat as usual. If you want to join us, just ask, and you're gonna be added to our WhatsApp chat, and follow us everywhere. And of course, tomorrow they're gonna be posted the Fratelli Rugby ratings on Patreon of the last week. So watch out for that, and support us, support Fratelli Rugby. Mike, Italian Andy Sheridan. My God,
that's not Cera, mate. Like.
Is that no Cera? Well,
yeah.
Mike, ciao. See you next week.
Ciao. Buonanotte.
Buonanotte.
Ciao
Fratelli the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. Fratelli the Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast. The Italian Rugby Podcast.